This past century, many eyewitnesses have reported seeing massive bird like creatures. In West Virginia, the Mothman was spotted by many in the 1966 and 1967 years. Thunderbirds, which are massive birds, have been reported by many different Native American tribes around the Great Plains and Midwest for centuries. Recent sightings of these creatures have occurred as well by hunters out in the forest. In Maryland, one winged creature, perhaps the oddest of all, was spotted by multiple witnesses in the early 20th century with reports from various states. The creature has been named the Snallygaster. Snallygaster is often described as a half reptile, half bird that resides deep in South Mountains caves in the Blue Ridge Mountain Range of Maryland. The mysterious creature is said to stalk its prey and then swoop down quietly, often stealing livestock and other small animals. It is said to have metallic-like beak lined with razor-sharp teeth. Strangely, some reports claim that the creature has octopus-like tentacles. In the 1730s, German immigrants settled in the area of Frederick County, Maryland. According to legends, the elusive beast terrorized the community. The earliest stories about the monster say it sucked the blood of its victims, and stories about it were passed down from generation to generation. Back then, to protect their families and livestock, German immigrants painted the seven-pointed star on their barns, which they believe deterred the monster and kept them safe. The first documented written sighting occurred in 1909, when stories began to appear around February and March in the Maryland newspapers, such as the Maryland Valley Register. Many local residents who encountered the beast described the winged creature as having enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claw-like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead. Further, it was said to make screeches similar to a locomotive whistle. As such, the popularity of the beast exploded with sightings in several states. James Harding, the first eyewitness, described the creature as having enormous wings, a long, sharp beak, claws like steel, and one eye in the middle of its forehead. He said it made shrill, screeching noises, and strangely, he described it as looking like a cross between a tiger and a vampire. It was reported to have killed a man, according to him. The individual's name was Bill Gifferson. The Snallygaster killed Gifferson by piercing his neck with its razor-sharp bill and slowly sucking the blood from him. T.C. Harbaugh of Casstown, Ohio, wrote a letter to the Maryland Valley Register in early 1909, recalling a strange beast that often flew over, making horrific screeching noises. Harbaugh described it as having two huge wings, a large head, and a tail around 20 feet long. Other strange activity around the beast were multiple reports of the creature laying massive eggs, some 4 to 5 feet tall. In one story, men had hooked up an incubator-like device in an effort to hatch it. One intriguing story involved 3 men fighting the hostile creature outside a railroad station for nearly an hour before it vanished into the woods. The stories of the beast became so popular and sensational that the famous Smithsonian Institution offered a reward for the body. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, was an avid explorer and eventually explored the hostile Amazon rainforests. During this expedition, Roosevelt nearly died, having his health permanently damaged, but succeeded in discovering many new species of plants and animals. It is said that when the reward and stories began circulating around the Snallygaster, Theodore Roosevelt, then president, considered postponing an important international trip so that he could hunt the beast personally. According to legend, the Snallygaster has one natural enemy, the dueo. The dueo is reported to be a mammalian biped with features similar to a wolf, but the stance and stature of a human. The dueo and the Snallygaster have reportedly had vicious fights dating back to the early settlement of the Middletown Valley. After the initial 1909 reports, sightings would stop for some time. Then, 23 years later, in 1934, the Snallygaster appeared again in Frederick County. The report received was from South Mountain in Washington County, where eyewitnesses claimed that the creature flew towards them from around Middleton Valley. Many say that the beast was often seen flying back and forth over the area and was described as being as large as a blimp, with arms resembling the tentacles of an octopus. According to some, the creature appeared to be able to change its size, shape, and color at will. As the creature flew, many residents went inside to avoid being potentially attacked. Some believe that the Snallygaster seen in 1934 came from the eggs from 1909. It is said that the lifespan of one of these is about 20 years. Still, today there have been fewer and fewer reports of Snallygasters. Many believe that the animal has gone extinct. Others believe that the creature is so elusive it rarely comes out, as it feasts on big meals and spends much of its time in a hibernation-like stage. Hunting groups have gathered over the 20th century in order to try and locate and kill the beast. Although no valid photographic or video evidence has surfaced, like other cryptids, many still believe in its possible existence. As such, the creature has become popular in Maryland culture with t-shirts, beers, and festivals named after the legendary monster. Perhaps one day, the answer will emerge, but until then, the Snallygaster will be said by most to be just folklore.